I don't really have any stake in The Last of Us Part 2. There's a lot of crap and shade that has been thrown onto the game. I mean, I am a rabid Titanfall 2 fan. I love it. The story's phenomenal. I'll fight tooth and nail. That's the hill in which I will die. I'll fight and die on that hill. I love it. Every single aspect about that game is just beautiful. The only issue is I think it's a smaller campaign, and wish that they could have made a Titanfall 3 instead of going in the direction they went with Apex Legends, the Fortnite type brawler. Anyways, but with The Last of Us Part 2, I haven't played The Last of Us 1. I've heard glowing reviews. They love the story, they love the plot, they love the gameplay, they love everything about the first game. But when the second game came out, it was sort of a pooping on the first game. It pooped on the characters. It just pooped on it pooped on everybody. Lots of poop. Poop. So this is me just reading the second one. What I'd love to do is just create a new story out of it. Create something without knowing any of the history of any of the characters. I'm just gonna go with something, whatever pops up to the top of my mind. We'll do something on like Drawsome or something. And wait, there we go. And we'll doodle. Wait, do I have this right? Yeah, we'll just doodle on here, drawing little pictures. There's a house. It's a beautiful house. That's what we call art, and it's amazing. But we'll go ahead and clear, delete, select, fill, everything. Okay, I'm getting used to this. It's pretty nice. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. It's pretty bright. Okay, 5 years after the events of the first game, Joel, which I keep hearing Joel, Ellie, I think there was another one. I'll get to them in a bit. 5 years after the events of the first game, Joel and Ellie are living in Tommy's settlement in Jackson, Wyoming. During this time, Ellie has made friends with Dina, Dina, and Jesse, and entered a relationship with Dina after the couple broke up. In the winter, when Joel and Tommy go missing while observing the movement of nearby infected, which, by the way, I love that concept of the game, too, the infected, Ellie and Dina go to investigate. Joel and Tommy encounter Abby. There's so many characters. And the group escape a large horde. Abby reveals herself as a leader of a small group within the larger Washington Liberation Front, and the daughter of one of the Firefly surgeons Joel killed while saving Ellie. And beats Joel to death as Ellie finds him. Okay. If I understand correctly, Joel and I think Ellie were the main character. Yeah. Ellie and Joel were. Wait, what? Joel Miller? Oh, heck yeah. And beats Joel to death. So Joel was the main character of the first one, from my understanding. There's not much that I know from that, other than Ellie is Joel is, again, from what I've heard, the surrogate father of Ellie, who Ellie is a reminder of a daughter that Joel lost 20 years ago, and they didn't know that they needed each other and developed that relationship through the entire thing. And in the second game, it's just tearing all that apart, again, pooping on the old characters, which I understand that wholeheartedly. I love the Kung Fu, this is going to sound weird, but I love the Kung Fu Panda series. Kung Fu Panda 1 started it all for me. Kung Fu Panda 2, I thought, was a legitimate. It had a lot of childish themes throughout the entire thing, but I thought it was one of the most adult-themed shows. Because Shen, the main villain, had so much depth to him. So many character, not even just flaws, but you got to see his progression and his regression. You got to see it all from start to finish, and even in any and all things between. It was beautifully done. Lots of issues with the second one, but I love it. And then the third one, they kind of just I don't know. I think the third one kind of just poops on the entire series, just like the second Cars out of the Cars trilogy. First one, third one, I thought were great. Third one, I thought would have been perfect, but the ending kind of messed it up for me. I know it's a kid's show, but they could have made it an absolute phenomenal message to everybody out there. And I'll keep on moving on because I could go on that for a while. So, let's read this again. Wow, this is a long sentence. Abby reveals herself to be the leader of a small group. Joel while saving Ellie and beats Joel to death. So Abby beats Joel to death as Ellie finds him. Though affected by the incident, Ellie swears revenge. So Ellie swears revenge on Abby for killing Joel. Got it. In the spring, Tommy, frustrated that Jackson does not have the resources to fight the WLF, the Washington Liberation Front, WLF, pursues them to their base in Seattle on his own. With authorization from Tommy's wife, Maria, Ellie and Dina go after Tommy, who has already killed several WLF members. While avoiding WLF patrols in Seattle, the pair are attacked by a large group of infected, and upon escaping, Ellie reveals her immunity to Dina. Ooh. Okay. I mean, I like where that's going. Again, not to poop on anybody. It's like, if you don't like the story, I would love to take and roll with this. Yeah. They're one of the main characters in the past game. You have an immunity to the infection. You know how valuable you are? Wow! That's awesome. Who in turn reveals she is pregnant. Well, wait. Ellie reveals that the immunity to Dina, and Dina reveals that she is pregnant. Okay? The next day, with Dina physically weakened by her pregnancy, Ellie pursues Tommy alone and encounters Jesse. And okay, I'm getting this is a convoluted mess. I don't really know what's going on. Who had followed them to Seattle but has been wounded, leaving Ellie to continue her journey alone while searching for a member of Abby's group named Nora from Ruby, RWBY. I love that show. Well, first 4 or 5 seasons are great. It kind of trickles off from there. I think they do an okay job, but She encounters the Seraphites. My goodness, what's going on here? A group of religious fanatics who are battling the WLF over control of Seattle. Eventually, Ellie tracks down Nora and beats her for information on Abby's location. As Nora succumbs to her injuries, that sucks. Ellie learns she is a former Firefly, causing her to recall how 2 years ago she investigated the hospital Joel rescued her from and learned he lied about the Fireflies being unable to find a cure. Why would... Well, one of the things of, could Joel have had a good reason to have done that, or maybe he was afraid of what would happen to her if he found out that she actually had the immunity. Oh, that would be a really cool storyline. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, that would be wonderful. Screw whatever the story is. Let's go with this edited version. Joel, in this fantasy number 2 that we're going to create, Joel knew that Ellie, the girl that he was campaigning with through the entire first game, Joel knew that Ellie had had an immunity to the infection that was causing people to become the plant zombie thingies, and Joel told her that there was that the Fireflies weren't able to find a cure because Joel knew that that they would take her, Ellie, from him to find the cure, ripping her from limb to limb, trying to find a cure. But maybe through the process of trying to find a cure, there's maybe it goes really well the first few months, but because they aren't getting the results that they want, they start revving it up, and then they start taking little pieces off of her that are just irreparable. So it doesn't matter how long she sleeps or what medicine she takes, is that the process of trying to find a cure, this very specific what is it, infection, that that Joel knew the Fireflies would go after Ellie, to find a cure. With that plot alone, you just saved the entire game. And literally, 10 minutes worth of reading, I think I just stumbled upon a really cool idea. I think they could have gone with this one, and then they could have had like maybe an entire arc, maybe in game 3, 4, or 5. That's when Joel and Ellie start to break apart, because Ellie thinks that Joel is on the wrong side, while Joel is on the wrong side trying to protect Ellie. But because the two are miscommunicating, they have the wrong perceptions about each other, and then they don't fight each other. Joel keeps fending off Ellie's attacks and tries to keep explaining to her what things are, but Ellie falls into the wrong crowd with Abby, and then, man, this story is awesome! Oh my god! This is freaking sweet! I am happy! My goodness, let's keep reading, because you could go on with this one section, this one sentence. You could have 2 hours of solid cutscenes. You could have 5 hours of solid gameplay just from this one little thing. Maybe the entire plot of the second game could have been about Joel thought the Fireflies would take Ellie to find a cure, and in that process, the Fireflies would have destroyed Ellie in the process. Now, it doesn't happen at first, and maybe the first 2 years. It's okay, and Joel just doesn't want to be part of the Fireflies because he knows how radical that the Fireflies may be. And Abby is Ellie's best friend while in the Fireflies, and Abby convinces Ellie that Joel is the enemy. But Joel might actually be a harmful person, but the only person Joel was kind to was with Ellie. And if Joel was only kind to... Okay, I might sound like I'm pissed off or excited. I'm just excited, okay? So I apologize if that's coming through. So Joel, being the only person that he's ever been kind to, Ellie, who reminded of him of his 20-year-old the daughter he lost 20 years ago, if I remember correctly, from what I've heard about the first game, Joel being kind to Ellie, the only person he's ever been kind to, the Fireflies actually wanted him to leave, but Joel knows that the Fireflies were objectively worse than him. Joel was probably cruel, unkind, he probably tortured people, but the Fireflies did things worse, but the Fireflies maybe had a code of conduct to go on, and Joel had his own, which is why they had a conflict. The Fireflies wanted to... Let's see... What do we want to give them? The Fireflies maybe had a code of conduct of trying to find a... probably like the Maze Runner series. Spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen it. Skip, maybe like... I'm going to probably continue talking about that movie. But the entire point, which... okay, I have mixed reviews about the Maze Runner series, and that was about to come out. But the Maze Runner series is that in the third movie or the fourth movie, they have... or the second movie, you figure out that the main people who put the kids in the maze are trying to get their body to activate a certain way so they can find a cure, because there's an infection that it just took the entire planet. And so they're being very cruel to kids, but they're doing it for the right reasons. So objectively, if you're going to be killing a kid, well, you better have a freaking good reason to do it. Doesn't mean that your reason for doing it, what you're doing is good. It's just having that good reason makes it better. Doesn't make it good, it just makes it better. It's like, would you rather, as for example, destroying a 500-year-old stained glass window or accidentally stepping on your phone? Okay? The 500, like, which one would have been a worse accident? 500 years of history gone, or you can replace your phone because you can just go to the next store. They're replacing it. Maybe like a, not a smartphone, but one of those Nokia phones. The phone that never breaks. That'd be kind of cool. So it's like, it makes it better. Doesn't make it good, it just makes it better. So Joel maybe had, from what the Fireflies thought, were worse with just this one story. You could play Joel. Let's go from the very beginning. Okay, so we first have, I'm going to go back and forth on here. Here. We have first Joel. Joel and the Fireflies. Okay, this is me spelling. Fire. Ooh, excuse me, I just burped. Fireflies. Okay, so in the first part of the game, we have 1. So 1, Joel and the Fireflies, you get to start seeing the history of what happened in the past 2 years with Joel and the Fireflies. And you get to understand Ellie's not part of the picture, or maybe Joel can see Ellie through the glass while they're doing tests and stuff, and he's secluded from talking to her, and just over the next maybe hour or 2, you get to see how Joel and the Abby, there needs to be a spelling part in this. Okay, I'll get into a better thing. And Ellie. Is that right? Ooh, that's bright. Okay, so Joel is trying to communicate with Ellie, but the Fireflies are trying to kick Joel or push Joel away from Ellie because they truly do believe, and maybe objectively, they have good reasons as to why Joel is trying to corrupt Ellie to become onto his side, and maybe they think that Joel is trying to mess up the entire thing. But Joel doesn't want Ellie to be harmed by the Fireflies, and again, you see where all this is going? This is a beautiful connection where every single person here, Abby, has no let's just say no ill to Ellie, but because Abby is part of the Fireflies, gets in between Joel and Ellie, and Abby tries to keep pushing or pulling Ellie away from Joel. And then while Joel tries to get with Ellie, that doesn't work, so Joel talks with the Firefly leaders, and then I don't even know who the Fireflies are. Again, it's take it for what it is. So in my picture, in my mind, I think that the Fireflies are legitimately like maybe high tech. Maybe they do have whatever the high-tech availability is at that moment in this timeline because of everything being destroyed and broken. So maybe they have just a few bits and pieces here and there, like a ragtag, steampunk type of base, and then Joel is going through this base. Now I was thinking of it like a pristine base, but we can make it however you want, and then we'll just roll with that. But the main story between these characters, you have the entire first 5 to 10 hours where you could see maybe for the first 2 hours, Joel for 2 hours. Gosh, that's a crappy 2. Let's do that again. 2. Oh, that's so much better. 2 hours. Okay, so for 2 hours, Joel is trying to get with is trying to get to Ellie, but understanding that the Fireflies are actually pushing him out from the group, and he wanted to keep keep Ellie away from the Fireflies because of that. I keep saying it over and over and over. I'm just trying to connect all the pieces to any new ideas that I have. So it helps me. And then maybe for the next is that you have Joel, Fireflies, and Ellie. And then for the next maybe 3 to 5 hours, you see that Joel actually had a beef with the Fireflies. You sort of see maybe a little bit of Abby, and maybe a little bit of Ellie, but the main story is now between Joel and the Fireflies. For the first 2 hours, you could have it where you get to see all this combination where it looks good at the beginning, but you just the seed of doubt. You're going through the base, you're doing some training, you're doing the tutorial of like how do you shoot, how do you loot, and that's what Joel maybe be doing in the base, and Ellie is in the background. You can see through some windows that she's being treated or having an injection or doing some tests in a few rooms over, but she's always in view doing some things while Joel is going through the entire Fireflies base for the first 2 hours or so. For the 3 to 5 hours, you could have it where Joel is actually having a legitimate combat. Let's go with tutorial. Tutorial. I need to get tutorial. And then here is the conflict. And there we go. And then you could have for the next 10 hours. Why 10 hours? Maybe for 2 hours, but then for 10 hours to maybe 20 hours after that, you can have it where the entire conflict is between Joel, Fireflies, let's go with this one. Now you have Abby and Ellie with Fireflies and a little bit of Joel. Joel leaves, Ellie steps in. So let's go with the small one. Ellie steps in. So you get to see her story. That maybe, now here's a really good question. If Ellie's going to be stepping in and the Fireflies want to continue to have Ellie into the base, and Abby is Ellie's best friend who's a part of the Fireflies, then how is Ellie going to have any character development in this entire story? So maybe Joel has a crucial breakout and has a great disruption with the Fireflies. If that was the case, then Ellie can see what Joel might have been trying to do, and maybe maybe Ellie thinks that Joel is evil from what Abby and the Fireflies have been telling her, and Joel leaves trying to take Ellie, but the Fireflies are out to kill Joel, and because of that, Ellie finds a way during the night to leave with Abby. Abby follows her, but Abby trying to convince Ellie to come back to the Fireflies, and so Ellie steps in. Let me go ahead and put that. Ellie steps in. So now we have the entire story. Of Ellie's trying to step in. Abby goes to Ellie, who's running away during the middle of the night. Again, Abby being an innocent bystander in the story. I don't care who she is in the actual, or he or she is in the second game. We're going to create our own second game. So with Abby trying to go with Ellie, follows Ellie into the night, with like some good equipment or something, just like a little bit of like, hey, wait, before you go, it's like we need to make certain that we can go back. But before Ellie and Abby try to go back, or maybe before Ellie even makes the decision to go back, or maybe if Abby is still trying to convince her, there is a disruption. Maybe a monster or a horde comes in and it cuts deep. What I mean by that, it cuts them off from heading back to the Fireflies. Not emotionally, relationally, financially. I literally mean there's a physical cataclysm of maybe hordes splitting off the forces from the Fireflies, trying to rescue Ellie from the incoming infected. And Abby is cut off with Ellie, so they're now together. So they're now a team. And Abby wants to go back with Ellie back to the Fireflies, but they literally physically can't because there's a big divide. And Ellie's only main objective is to go back to Joel to have him, because Ellie understands the evils that the Fireflies was doing to Ellie without understanding what Joel was trying to protect her from. So now you have this okay. If that's the case, how many hours do we have? Let's just median it. So we have about 15 plus 4, about 15 hours plus 4, that's 19, plus 2, that's 21. So we have 21 hours worth of content for a second game. Now, here's a question. I would love to know, everybody out there, how much better of a story is this that literally took us, how long was it? 24 minutes. 24, not even 24 minutes, because I was trying to figure out literally, anybody can come up with this type of stuff. I encourage every single person, go out there, grab a pen and paper, open up a paint tab, grab a text editor, and just create the story. This is fun for me. I'm not trying to show up a Last of Us 2, because, again, I have no beef with the Last of Us franchise, either number 1 or number 2. I thought number 1, from what I've been told, is that it's a phenomenal game. And that the second one spits on, shats on, poops on the entire first game because of the characters having their conflict. But why would you want to have it as an ending to the first one? Why would you, like, you could continue this. Every single person here may not have lost their life or maybe even lose their life at all in the entire second game. But you can have even now a new main character, maybe even if to have, to have a relationship with Ellie and Abby don't even show this, or maybe it's little subtle hints or something throughout the entire thing. That doesn't matter. That story doesn't matter. What matters is that the conflict, the build-up, the character challenges, that's awesome. Okay, so we have Joel, Fireflies, Abby, and Ellie, and that's what happens within this second one. So what I'm going to do is pause it real quick, and I need to find something. I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to make certain. I was going to do a speech-to-text program, but I think that would have conflicted with the recording software that I have, and I don't want to have that mess up. So I'm just going to type it by hand. Okay, so let's write this entire thing down. So just very quickly, is that Joel, first 2 hours. There we go. Let's shrink this. Hopefully you can see that. Let's do it this way. First, we'll increase it. Oh, that's actually a good idea. Let's do it this way. So the first 2 hours is that Joel and a tutorial level, maybe it doesn't even last for 5 to 10 minutes, tutorial level with Joel gearing up, or daily practice. Joel doing his daily practice, learning the buttons. And then with that, you get to see Ellie a few rooms over, glass walls from the training room to the plexiglass walls from the training room to the cure facility room. Joel has conflict with Fireflies, as Fireflies are willing to dismantle Ellie to find a possible cure. 2 years in the future. So 2 years in the future. And Joel has warned Ellie about the Fireflies because he knew they would do this. Okay. And then... Okay. Now there's a lot to this story. Okay, so Joel has warned Ellie about the Fireflies because he knew that they would do this. Joel knew Ellie had an immunity, but Ellie didn't. Between the first game and second. Okay. Now that I don't think that's retconning. I think that's just filling in the story to try to make something. But because of how complex and how well everything fits, that's a very important point. Of how everything fits, I think that's an okay detail to plant if you want to continue the story with Joel and Ellie instead of having Joel die by Abby's hands and Ellie trying to find revenge upon Abby. And I'm just adding the Fireflies because Fireflies are awesome. They make stuff out of their butt. They make a glowing thing out of my butt. The only thing that I make out of my butt is not that pretty. So go Fireflies. Also, it's a phenomenal TV show. And Serenity is a heck of a movie. But it's such a real good movie too. I won't go into detail with that one, but it's so good. It's so good. Okay. Joel knew Ellie had an immunity, but Ellie didn't between the first and second game. Ellie continued. Ellie and Joel, in the first 2 hours of gameplay, you get to see a divide because of communication, a lack of communication, and from that lack of communication, because of the lack of communication, Ellie thinks Joel is as bad as the Fireflies think, because how Joel lied to Ellie about having an immunity. Joel is bad. Now, again, there's so much detail that I wouldn't be able to really type, but let's go ahead and just type it out. Again, I'd love to have a group of people where we can just maybe have one person write it down. Everybody's able to maybe having some speech or text apps on. Okay, there was an issue. The server the thing I was writing on, I need to get an actual app rather than being online, is that somebody was... the website itself had a server issue, and they had to reset the entire server, so everything was lost. Unfortunately, I remember what's going on, and it was just recent. So, Joel is bad. There we go. Bad. Is worse. Wait, is that his worse? Wait, where's the R? Freaking, okay. Worse than the Fireflies say, but the Fireflies are worse than Joel. Joel hid many truths about his life from Ellie. Joel hid many truths about his life from Ellie. Thus, when the truth comes out, Ellie is right to be suspicious. Is that right? Suspicious? We'll go with that. That's not right. Doesn't look right. Thus, when the truth comes out, Ellie is right to be suspicious. Let me actually look that up. So, wait, did I? Oh, somebody just bought something off of eBay for me. Heck yeah! Your item sold for $15. Freaking awesome, dude! Oh, I gotta do this right after. I was trying to clear something out. There was a gift card I didn't really care to keep to have. So I think the best way to do it is if you have a gift card you don't want. Again, the gift card that I had, I got like 5 years ago, and I discovered it about a year ago, and I just remembered that I had it. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather have that, put that funds into into an investment app that I have. I highly suggest Acorns for anybody who's out there, and I'd rather use the $15 and just put it into there. Or maybe that's $15 worth of Blu-rays I can buy. Yeah, but I have to go do that tomorrow. I gotta go deal with that tomorrow because it's later in the day. Okay, so suspicious. Yeah, I spelt that incredibly. I was about to say concredibly wrong. Suspicious. There we go, just no S. Okay, I knew it was wrong. I just need to look it up. So, thus, when the truth comes out, Ellie is right to be suspicious. Joel tries to take Ellie out of the Firefly base when he finds out the plans from them of what they will do to her. Joel Ellie pushes him away for a final straw. And Joel is chased out for good. Ellie, over the next couple of days, Abby, this isn't perfect, but because Abby, her best friend with the fireflies, so Ellie pushes him away for a final straw because as a final straw because Abby, her best friend with the fireflies, convinced Joel was no good, but was correct. And Joel's chased out for good. Okay, something like that. Fireflies have an oath, but are overreaching. Joel is moral, but bends but steps over those lines often. So now you have two people with conflicts who are two groups. One is Joel, the rest are the Fireflies, and I think that's pretty good. Just some ideas. So Ellie, over the next couple of days, I think I'm just gonna go with that because this is actually gonna probably take a little bit longer. We'll just keep going. So Ellie, over the next couple of days. I really do like that drawing out because that's actually what was most fun. Writing it out in English, there's a lot to it. So, but might as well write it out. So Ellie, over the next couple of days, finds out what Joel told her the night he tried to take her away has started to become true. Dangerous tests, sees wrongful experiments from others, etc., etc. So, Ellie runs away to find Joel, knowing he was right and she was wrong. Bam! Story arc. Redemption arc. Redemption arc. We now have a redemption arc from the first 2 hours of gameplay. So, yeah, first 2 hours. The first 2 hours of gameplay, Ellie and Joel have had a conflict of interest. Not a conflict of interest, have had a miscommunication. And when Ellie pushed away Joel, who was right in the situation, and Joel had to run away because the Fireflies were going after him, Ellie, understanding that she was in the wrong, has a redemption arc to go back and find Joel, who was kicked out. So maybe Joel is being hunted by the Fireflies, and when Ellie runs away, Ellie has to fight, or maybe you get a few options. Maybe like some things that they could have added in the game are some options. I haven't played the game, so I don't know if this is actually in there, or maybe an option that would incredibly be awesome. But Ellie, while she's going around, Ellie fights and finds little encampments that the Fireflies are trying to find Joel. They need to kill him because maybe he has a key. Maybe he took off with some information that's incredibly important that could bring them all down. Maybe he took some of the cures with him, and they have to either first kill him, but first find where they put the cures. Because is he like where is he going with that and stuff? So maybe the Fireflies are really working with other groups trying to take him down. Maybe putting a bounty on his head to try to take him down. And because I'm certain there's a bunch of groups out there that would be willing to, like, whatever the finance, whatever the currency is, of to go and take down somebody. So Ellie runs away to find Joel, and that's the redemption, because she was in the wrong. She did a wrong act. She didn't know. So again, she came from a place of ignorance, not maybe ill will, but just from a place of ignorance. And when she became aware of the new better way of living, she now understood that she needs to go find Joel and start living with that guy because he, out of this entire base, is the only one other than Abby, her best friend, who's ignorant. Let me go back up here. Abby. Oh wow, I don't really have much for Abby. Abby, ignorant, innocent. Let me say that. Innocent about Ellie's destiny, Ellie's relationship with the cure. Just a good-hearted girl. There we go. In this hell of a world. So while she is trying to go find Joel is the only one who actually cares about her, and Abby is the one that actually cares about her too, without knowing about any of the plans that the Firefly actually has with her. And maybe Abby is the connection that maybe Ellie in the future finds a way to convince that Abby is wrong, or at least convinces Abby that she was wrong, or just wasn't aware of the issues that were happening in the base, and because of that, yeah, let's roll with it. That maybe she becomes a turncoat and is able to be a Trojan horse going into the base, and then able to bring it all down, or even find a way to get the cure itself, and maybe they can do their own experiments at somewhere else. Because it's like, when Ellie finds Joel, maybe at the very end, Ellie says to Joel, "We need to find a cure. That is the most important thing for us." And Joel keeps saying no and no. Maybe it's like 2/3 of the way through. And Joel, it's like it doesn't matter if you do that. It's like this entire world's lost. And Ellie is actually the hero here, because she goes to Joel with this more of a hopeful look at the future. And Ellie convinces Joel that it's like, let's rebuild it or something a bit more whatever the characters would say. And Joel eventually accepts it and tries to help out, and then they go on to another adventure, and they start to create their own civilization, maybe somewhere else. Maybe they don't even create their own civilization, but maybe that's the entire objective in the third game, while this entire second game is trying to find Joel. But maybe you find Joel a third of the way through, but with Ellie. Maybe if you want to have some more Joel action, where you play Joel, maybe oh my gosh, I got an idea. Oh, I got an idea. If you want to play Joel, if Joel is one of the main characters in the first game that you get to play, I'm just curious, I'm just assuming, and Ellie is one of the main characters you get to play at the very beginning of the first game. If you want to be able to play both of them, maybe you could play both of them, but at different times. Joel is in some part of a city you don't know. Ellie is in a city and a part of it that you don't know. And you're trying to find a way to get Ellie and Joel back together. And the interesting part about that is that it can be... Now, again, for game mechanics, would you want to make that random? Do you want to point some little tidbits here and there? If you start seeing a building signs in one place and you start seeing it in the other place, you know that they're together. Maybe, but every time that they try to find a way to get together, there's something that splits them apart. Maybe when they do find each other for the first time, maybe for the first 4 hours while Ellie is trying to find Joel. Joel is trying to find... They get reconnected, so it's just get reconnected. So both Ellie and Joel get reconnected, and from their reconnection, they have maybe a bit of an argument. Maybe they're trying to reconcile. Ellie is saying that I'm sorry. Joel is saying, like, I'm gonna have none of it because of what you've been doing. Maybe Joel's having the bad attitude because he has been hunted by the Fireflies, while that he thinks Ellie is now a part of, and he's been warning Ellie about the Fireflies this entire time, so they're just going at it. Maybe Ellie slaps Joel, and then Joel punches her in the face, and she gets not knocked out, but she gets off her feet. And then when Joel realizes that, whoa, what the hell have I just done? Ellie Oh, freaking A! This is going in a phenomenal place. Okay, okay. No. We're just getting started. Okay. Ellie and Joel fight. Joel punches Ellie in the face. Bleeds. Ellie is afraid of Joel. No. Just follow with me with where I'm going with this. Ellie is afraid of Joel now. Just a little scared and frightened. And Joel is, and the fireflies show up. And then they get Ellie back. And have found Abby along the way or something. Abby probably got lost, but the Fireflies found her. They get into a helicopter, they fly off. I don't know if that technology exists, but I think that it's just like, let's get an extraction because the plot demands it. There are now helicopters in this story, so or maybe they have a walk on the way back. But Fireflies get Ellie back and have found Abby along the way. Not Elliot. Joel finds a way to escape because they know that the Fireflies are trying to kill him and trying to protect Ellie. So Ellie is now quote unquote kidnapped, but brought back to safety, back to the place. So she's knocked out. Abby doesn't really know what's going on. Maybe later Abby, because she doesn't know what the Fireflies are going to be doing to Ellie, maybe Abby is going to be using going to find a way to release Ellie from the Fireflies. And I don't know if Abby has to die. I wouldn't want her to. I don't really want her to, but I think it would be best for the story to have Abby die. Where Abby releases Ellie from the Fireflies maybe 3 or 4 hours later. Maybe that's the reason. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but let me do it this way. Joel now has the redemption arc to go save Ellie because he did what he did with them. Again, a bad action, redemption. Let's do a redemption arc. Another redemption arc. So now Joel is going back to go and save Ellie from the Fireflies because they're going to be doing those horrible experiments on Ellie and going to eventually kill her through the process. Experimental, but they're willing to take the risk to try to find a cure. So Joel, going back to save Ellie, can't really do it. Abby finds out that Joel is near the base, doesn't tell the Fireflies, and covers for Joel, but Joel does not know that Abby is on his side. So when Joel is trying to save Ellie, Abby finds a way to get Joel into the base because Abby is seeing all the crap that the Fireflies are doing to Ellie. Maybe Abby has a conversation with one of the Firefly leaders, and it's like, well, what are you doing to Ellie? It's like, get away, kid, we're busy. And it's like, well, whoa, that's my friend there. And it's like, and then maybe like selling like it is no longer a concern of yours. It being Ellie, not she, not her, not the person, but it, the thing. And Abby is taken aback by this. It's like that one simple line that really like clicks to Abby that what Ellie was telling Abby was correct, and that's the reason that Abby starts helping Joel. And when Joel gets into the base and tries to find a way to get Ellie out, Abby flips up a switch or something where Ellie is allowed to get up, or Joel is trying to come and grab Ellie. Now the Fireflies are on alert. They're trying to find Ellie. Maybe eventually they find out that Abby had done what she did, and maybe they not decapitated, but that'd be horrible. Probably. I mean, if the cure, the possible cure to the entire Armageddon crisis you are living in, somebody just backfired that plan. Maybe you decapitate them so they don't do it again. I'm not saying that's what should happen, but I think that would be a logical reason as to why Abby would have to be decapitated. Maybe she, while flipping the switch, has her hand chopped off, literally in the action of her doing it, and while it happens, Abby maybe stumbles and falls onto the switch or something. While it's a lever, and while she was like pulling or pushing the lever, she got her hand chopped off, or maybe her arm chopped off by with a machete by one of the other people. And Abby will eventually live, and maybe in the third game you get to see Abby that comes back as a a new character, or maybe somebody that Joel and Ellie has to protect, or if Abby has been thrown out there, Joel and Ellie maybe come to her grave at the beginning of the third game, because Abby having her arm chopped off and then being cast out into the wilderness, Ellie and Joel may have found her as an infected, or her body being untouched by the infected because of some reason, I don't know, but to more of a respect for Abby's sacrifice. But I want to do something good with Abby, but I think Abby has to lose something, if not her life. And it's like, I don't want Abby to die, but I think the story would be great. So, sorry, Abby. So now the Fireflies. So Joel and Ellie, Joel comes in, grabs Ellie. Ellie realizes that Joel actually cares about her, and everything is just kind of topsy-turvy right now, but the only thing that they revert to are the history that Ellie and Joel have had once in the past. So their experience is immediately comes back, and then they do maybe whatever the last battle of the last game was, that same scenario happens in this game. Maybe the infected rush the base and Abby let them in by accident. Maybe Abby, her redemption of the people that her friends, her family, her livelihood, her entire life just got thrown on its back, letting in the infected, or letting it being vulnerable to an infected attack. Maybe not that many people die, maybe it's just one or two, but Abby's life has just been thrown upside down. Joel, Ellie, and maybe Abby are trying to get out of there. I don't know if Abby has her arm, hasn't been decapitated, still is A-okay, but they go off with Joel and Ellie. And Abby is still a little bit conflicted about Joel, but still cares about Ellie. Ellie, really cares, if you know what I mean. And maybe they develop a relationship at some point, who knows. And at the very end of the game, you could probably see, now again, that's probably not that much of a storyline, but all the filler little quests, as for an example, when Ellie first goes out and tries to find Joel before after Joel tried to rescue Ellie the first time, the second time they go off successfully together. The first time Ellie tries to go find Joel, there are Firefly little groups trying to find Joel, who maybe stole something or has some secrets or trying to kill him or something. I don't know, but there's a reason as to why they would go after them. And then Ellie, again, there's many more characters you can add, and the storyline can get more thick and get more complex, but not complicated. So you can have more of an interwoven where every person's actions actually do influence the action that will happen. So, I don't know. However, the gameplay, what are the mechanics, etc. But the main point is having Ellie and Joel back together, but they first had a falling out, and then they're back together. So it's it's not cyclical. It's not cyclical at all, but you do get to see a rhythm of, for them to progress, they had to go through the environment, the world, the relationships they had with everybody around them to get back to each other as father and daughter. Joel is willing to sacrifice his own body to get back to Ellie, and Ellie to make certain that Ellie is safe. Ellie wants Joel and sees Joel as a father and wants to take maybe care of him, where it's like, you're the one man in this world that has actually cared about me. I want to go with you. And then Abby goes with Ellie and Joel and maybe a few other of the family or something. I don't know if the base gets divided. Maybe the Fireflies were just a ragtag team. Maybe they could be a more, not advanced, but whatever advanced is in the game. Not advanced to our technology, but whatever technology is available to develop in their world at that time. Maybe there's a few people who are great biologists and chemists who are able to understand how to create a serum, how to create a cure, how to do all those tests. And yeah, I think that's how it should go. I think we did pretty good here. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go from start to finish and let's go from start to finish, because just a little bit one last time. So I'm not going to read all this. This was all to help me What I should be doing is just little notes like this, or maybe have somebody write notes while talking, or maybe having the speech to text while I'm able to have a recording device that's recording my voice, but also not being interfered by the speech to text software. Again, I didn't do that. I probably need to test it after this. But yeah, let's go from the very beginning. So, in the beginning, there was man, because women didn't exist. Hi-yo! Oh, you gotta find humor in everything, so. Yep. So, the first 2 hours. So there's 2 hours, then 3 to 5 hours, and then 10 to 20 hours. And it could probably be a very short game, but I think it could be a phenomenal game, something that both respects Abby, Ellie, and Joel, and brings everybody together. Except for the Fireflies, they're they're done. Or not. Maybe they just become stronger. Cut off one head, two shall take its place. Hydra. Oh, you could have the Fireflies in this world be like, maybe like the Hydra, where they're just the little ragtag teams all over the place. And I don't know, probably not. That'd probably be taking too much of that story. And maybe a new Fireflies organization that comes up, maybe calling themselves Valium, Valiant, or the Radar, or maybe the Troop. Yeah, maybe the flagship Trooper, Starship Trooper. Whew. Okay, let's go from start to finish. So for the first 2 hours, then 3 to 5, and then 10 to 20. Is that you start in you start in the 2 years in the future tutorial level with Joel. He's doing his daily practices, learning the buttons and stuff, and you get to see that Ellie's in a few rooms over, plexiglass walls from a training room to the cure facility room. So it's more open. You get to see everything around you. It's not closed off. You get to see that other stories are happening at that time, other characters that are being brought in. You get to ask about whoever you want. There's probably maybe 5 hours of content you can ask about people and probably go talk to somebody, and that will probably lead down a little passive quest that may be able to go and get some medicine or some herbs for Ellie. And Ellie may not be. Maybe the Fireflies are just trying to keep Joel busy, but they keep him around because he's a good asset, not a good enemy. So keeping him as a friend rather than an enemy. So if they ever cross that line, they'd have to kill Joel, because maybe Joel is able and willing to kill all of the Fireflies because he's capable of it. I don't know how capable he is. I don't know if that's this type of person, if he's just more of an experienced person rather than a very skillful person. Don't know. Again, I haven't played the first game. You get to see Ellie in the few rooms, like the last guy. Joel has conflict with the Fireflies, as Fireflies are willing to dismantle Ellie to find a possible cure, as Ellie is immune to the infected disease. I don't know if it's a disease or a virus or something. Joel has warned Ellie about the Fireflies because they knew that they would do this in the past. Joel knew Ellie had an immunity, but Ellie didn't between the first and second game. So Ellie and Joel, in the first 2 hours of gameplay, you get to see that there's a divide because of the lack of communication, and Ellie thinks that Joel is as bad as the Fireflies think because of how Joel lied to Ellie about having an immunity that could save the entire that's how you spell it, entire race. So Joel is worse than what the Fireflies say, but the Fireflies are worse than Joel objectively. Joel hid many truths about the and then later on I'd say authoritarian, but reasonable in a post-apocalyptic world. Okay, I'm gonna spell this eventually. World. There we go. So, Joel hid many truths about his life from Ellie. Thus, when the truth comes out, Ellie is right to be suspicious. So Joel tries to take Ellie out of the Firefly base when he finds out the plans from them of what they will do to her. Ellie pushes him away as a final straw because Abby, her best friend with the Fireflies, convinced Ellie Joel was no good, but was correct, and Joel is chased out for good. Abby is innocent about Ellie's relationship with the Cure. Abby is innocent. Okay, gotcha. Abby doesn't know what's going on, just simply a friend with Ellie, but has more ties and relationship with the Fireflies, not Joel. Joel is, quote-unquote, now the enemy. Just a good-hearted girl in this hell of a world. So Fireflies have an oath, but they are overreaching. Joel is moral, but steps over the lines often. Ellie, over the next couple of days, finds out what Joel told her the night he tried to take her away, has started to become true. Dangerous tests, sees wrong experiments from others, etc. Ellie runs away, historical records, etc. Ellie runs away to find Joel, knowing he was right and she was wrong. So, bam, redemption arc. So, because Ellie pushed Joel, who was in the right, away, Ellie wants to go and right the wrong, go find Joel and make everything right again. Ellie and Joel get reconnected. Ellie and Joel fight. Joel punches Ellie in the face, and then she bleeds. Ellie is now afraid of Joel, and the Fireflies show back up with Ellie, get Ellie back, and have found Abby along the way. Well, with helicopter or something. I don't know. Helicopter. Copter. There we go. Is that how you spell it? Wait. There we go. Yeah. More exclamation marks. Whee! All of them. Joel has now the redemption arc and to go save Ellie. Okay, finishing this up. Joel goes and tries to save Ellie. Joel goes try to save Ellie. Abby finds out from the Fireflies that Ellie is an item, is an object, and Abby starts to fight against the Fireflies because Ellie is Abby's best friend and actually loves Ellie. So there's a good reason for why Abby would betray her entire life, because Ellie is a love interest, not just so. Man, let's just go ahead and type it. Abby finds out Fireflies are to use Ellie as an object. Abby fights Fireflies behind the scenes because she loves Abby. Then Joel, where was I? Abby, and then Joel, helps Joel, Abby helps Joel enter and extract Ellie. Joel and Ellie make up. Abby and Ellie make out. Because everybody needs a kiss, but maybe it's a wrong place kiss. I don't know. At some point they need a kiss, make it up, and all that great stuff. And then Joel and Ellie make up. Abby and Ellie make out. Don't mix the two. And so maybe they're leaving. I don't know how to end it, but how it transitions from them having been saved, and then is there another conflict that shows up? Maybe they're trying to getting away, and that's probably the last hour or two of the video. It's just them trying to run away from both the infected and 3, 4, an hour. Run away for 2 hours. Run away from infected groups and tribes and fireflies. Ends with Ellie convincing with Joel Ellie tries to convince him to use her as a cure for the world, he denies trying to protect her. Yeah. Joel, yeah. Ends with Joel accepting that Ellie is strong enough to use herself as a cure for the world. And maybe it's as simple as just her bathing in some drinking water and then everybody drinks the water. I think it's whatever from like South Park. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like Butters had a cure to something, and all he had to do was like be in bath water or like sitting in wine, and everybody just drank the wine and cured and had a cure or something. It could be as simple or silly as that, but they don't realize it's that simple. So they probably do a lot of other complicated things that gets them into a whole lot of trouble. But you can probably do it that way. So ends with Joel accepting that Ellie is strong enough to use herself as a cure for the world. Abby accepts Joel for the man he is, not the man the Fireflies told her he was. Told her he was. Third game, finding the cure. Boom! 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 Let me do that one more time. Well, let me get up. Boom! We'll do it again. Woo! There we go. Okay, gotta do it right. So we just created an entire game, the entire plot of Last of Us 2, and I think it's actually a better, more objectively better plot that could actually help everybody. Maybe it's not the best, okay? I understand there may be some issues with this entire plot, okay? But I think it respects both Joel and Ellie. Abby is a character everybody loves. You can have your quote-unquote gayness, all the gays. You could have all the gays in all the games, but it doesn't matter about that. It's just you got to put it in for a good reason. And where was it? When Abby finds out that Fireflies are to use Ellie as an object, finds out that Fireflies are going to use Ellie as an object, Abby fights the Fireflies behind the scenes because she loves Abby. Yeah, I like it the other way around. Just a lowercase, loves Abby. And because of that relationship that you didn't really know that was sort of blossoming, maybe it was behind the scenes that was blossoming like that, is that maybe, you could have it like this, where maybe, for a last little tidbit or something, Ellie might not be attracted to Abby in that way. She might not be gay or bisexual. Ellie simply might just still care for Abby as a friend, but Abby might be holding out for hope that Ellie will change her mind or come or get closer with Abby in that way. So maybe you could see that development to the third game. Abby tries to kiss Ellie, Ellie pushes back, and Abby's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that," and Ellie says like, "Okay, let's get out of here first. We'll think about this later." Wait a second. Wait, what? So maybe you could have a little bit of a conflict right there. It's not that they don't love each other. It's just maybe the relationship of love that they have might be one way, only one way, but Abby is still willing to stick with Ellie because Ellie and Abby are truly friends. They just truly are friends, and maybe you can have that as a conflict that might get them into trouble in the third game. And then with the third game you have Abby, who I'm trying to think Abby might have had have been holding out some hope for Ellie, but Ellie says like, "No, I'm not going to." And then maybe Abby goes out for a walk or something, not far, but is taken by somebody, and Ellie goes and tries to find Abby, and maybe you have a love story that way. And maybe Joel is trying to go and protect Ellie, because like, what the hell are you doing? You're like the protector of the world now, so we got to protect you first. But my Abby. You can be like, shut up, girl, shut up. No. Okay, big picture here, but my Abby. And that's how we can transition into the story Downton Abbey. So, oh, but my Abbey. Oh man, oh, that was fun. Well, I hope y'all got some joy out of that. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Like, that was fun. That was fun for me. I hope that was fun for you. Please post all your questions, comments, and concerns. If you have any ideas, if you have, what are some ideas? I think it's a good question to leave it off on. Is what are some good ideas of some plot that you could create? You don't have to use the basis of Last of Us 2. Maybe if for anybody out there who was actually a fan of the first game, maybe the story that I wrote is not cohesive with the first game. So my question is, well, what would be a good story to create? Or where would you want to see the plot go with the second game? Or how would you want the characters to play out? If the characters aren't what the ones you want, like for Abby would fit more naturally as a friend with Ellie rather than an enemy. That's just what worked for me. So what are some plots that you can think of? Who are some characters that you can create in this world? What conflicts are there in the world itself? Are the Fireflies fighting the Vanguard or whoever, other tribes? Maybe they're having a turf war, trying to fight over a very valuable resource. If maybe a meteorite comes from space and it hits down and it has some very rare material on it, or maybe it causes a destruction on a fellow base and everybody's trying to go to that base to try to grab some stuff because it's become vulnerable, and maybe the Fireflies. Again, you could just roll with it. That's my recommendation. So thank you for being a part of this. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button because that would greatly help this channel out. Again, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. But more importantly, I hope and wish that you have an enjoyable rest of your day. Because you know what? Your day matters. Your day matters. Also hit the subscribe button. Hit that button. Hit it. Smash it. Smash it with all the might of Thor. That's fun. Enjoy.